All right. Hello, friends. I got to thinking about the last live upload, and it really got me going. Like I missed so many things. So here's everything I thought about after reviewing my own movie. I told you that the gluttonous slave cannot create. They cannot create anything, okay? But what they will do is they will create. They will go by the numbers to make something over and over again. All right. And once again, it's just soulless. There's nothing there. They're going online and they're following a recipe. Okay. I don't do cooking. I mean, I've got a crock pot. I've got to upgrade to the new pressure cooker. But the difference between food and food cooked by someone that you can really appreciate is, and don't take this sexually, all right? I've thought all day how to not say this in a sexual way, and I'm trying my hardest here, but you can taste their essence when they make the food. It's almost like you're eating a part of them. It's almost like they've put themselves in the pot, okay? And that's the difference between an okay cook and a great cook, is they just make the little changes. They just see where in the recipe they can modify it to really just bring out whatever part of them that they want to, okay? The gluttonous slave will go online and they will find how to do things. I see so many well-painted minis. I see so many miraculously painted minis that would put anything I have to shame, but you know what? I do not envy them. I do not envy them because they just followed a recipe step by step, almost like a robot. There will be a day when a robot can recreate their work. The gluttonous slave cannot create, but they will excel at recreating, all right? The reason why we are so concerned with being gluttonous slaves, the reason why we're so happy being in the gluttonous slavery is because we are afraid of making mistakes, okay? We are afraid of making mistakes, and you should be. It is an evolutionary thing, all right? Making mistakes does not necessarily lead to offspring, all right? And I'm giving bad advice here, but hear me out. Hear me out, all right? I have been fired 3 times in 3 years. Yes, I have been fired 3 times in 3 years. 3 very different jobs, all right? And the only reason I've changed my ways is because the last time I got fired, it reminded me of the other time I got fired, all right? I had 15 beautiful women working for me, all at different stages of their life, all at different nationalities, and every month they would produce 30 hours of volunteer work. I was not paying them with money. I was paying them with understanding, with telling them that what they did mattered. I had 2 teenage girls running a classroom all by themselves. The teacher, she should have retired, but she was sticking around because the longer you stay in the education system, the bigger your retirement check's going to be. These, and before they got in there were kids playing around underneath the desks and just making a muck of everything. But these 2, I call them 18-year-olds, but you know what? They were women. They were powerful women taking charge of something that they wanted to. And they took charge, and I felt like I had a gift for the world. But you know what? That was all stripped away from me. Not only did they take me away from the program, but they destroyed my program, and they destroyed all the job opportunities I promised my volunteers. They took everything away. But you know what? I needed that. I needed to lose everything. The only way to lose everything is to gain everything. The only way to learn your lesson is to hit rock bottom. You cannot hit rock bottom if somebody's enabling you. If somebody is enabling you, you will never learn because they will always cushion you, okay? I am so glad that I lost everything. I'm so glad I had everything. I'm so glad I lost it 3 times in a row because I learned from it every single time. In the warehouse, I learned naughty, naughty jokes. Being a volunteer coordinator, I learned about connecting with people that don't look anything like me, that look the opposite of me in every way, every demographic form. They did not resemble me, but when they gave me their smile, when they gave me their smile, I had to smile back. And you don't smile at children in public because that's creepy. But when they smile at you, you're just on the spot. You're fixed. You have to give them back that love that they gave you. Okay? And the other job, I learned about metaphysiology. I learned about spirituality. I learned how to express myself. I learned how to woo women, okay? And I wouldn't have had any of this unless I failed and failed and failed and failed. And this Dungeons and Dragons campaign, you can check out the first episodes if you want to. They suck. The graphics suck. I'm playing music in the background because I want to have ambiance. It just does not translate at all through the programs I'm using. But you know what? If you can record yourself making a mistake, you can see exactly where things went wrong. All right, look in the mirror. Look at the fucking mirror right now. What will you see? I don't know what you'll see. You will not see yourself. You will see what you want to see. You'll see this person that you've made yourself up to be. But look in the camera. Take a snapshot of yourself. Record yourself. It doesn't matter. I was a spoiled brat growing up. I grew up with a wonderful middle-class family. You might even call them upper class. And I was spoiled. I was just absolutely spoiled. I would cry and scream when I didn't get my way. But you know what? Even when I was 3, they recorded me crying and screaming, and they played it to me. And I shut up. I shut up because I was able to see my flaws, all right? A camera doesn't lie. They say a camera adds 10 pounds. I don't know if that's true or not. But a camera will add 10 sins. If you see your sins through the camera lens, you'll know the truth. So make a mistake. Go fuck something up. Don't hurt anybody. I will hurt you if you hurt somebody. But go make some mistakes. If you're young, this is the best information I can give you because hindsight is 20/20. I mean, it's so easy to look back and say, why did I do that? But there was a reason. There was a reason you made every mistake. There was a reason. That's you didn't have hindsight. You were living in the moment. You know, I've nearly gotten in fist fights with 2 of my roommates, and we're on good terms now. One of them is part of my D&D campaign, and you know we've gone back and forth. And yes, these are the symptoms of an abusive relationship. You can use that against me, blah blah blah. But it's all right. You know, it's just there's a reason we had that conflict. We both had our reasons. It wasn't like we were trying to make mischief. That wasn't it at all. You can look back and try to be like, man, if I would have just done that, you know what? I did something terrible. I did a sin so bad I won't even describe it on this channel. And I have faced the law for it, and I've taken my dues for it, but there's a reason it happened, and I can't forgive myself yet. But there's a reason it happened, and I'm looking at those reasons, and you have to make mistakes. You have to make mistakes to move forward. You have to make mistakes and then look at them, and that's how you make shit go good. And you know what? Everyone's going to judge you. Every single person will judge you for your mistakes, and they will try to squish you. And that's okay. That's perfectly okay, and I'll get to why that's important. Without a proper segue, the gluttonous slave requires stimulation all the time, all right? You'll see them with their AirPods in, you know, always listening to music. They'll be walking around, and you're afraid to even contact them because they've got those white little larvae in their ears whispering secrets to them, and you can't hear it. And the craziest thing is sometimes, like there's technology so they can hear you and also hear what's going on. Maybe I'm just being a boomer right now. I think I'm just being a boomer right now. But the thing about them is they're cutting themselves off in the world. You know, you can watch Dungeons and Dragons versus 40K episodes. You can listen to me hacking my brains out. You can see me smoking pot all the time. And the gluttonous slave will always surround themselves with some sort of stimulus all the time. They need some sort of stimulation. You know what? I haven't gotten past that. I have not gotten past that at all. I am medicated. I'm finally taking my medication. And I think that's why the channel is going so well, is because I don't need to get pot high or drunk down or any of that. I feel great every day. I feel fantastic. I don't need anymore, but I'm still dependent on something. So in a way, I can't escape this phase. I cannot escape this phase. But whatever you can do to at least limit the amount of stimulants or the way they impact you, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, Starbucks is a stimulant, caffeine is a stimulant, sugar is a stimulant. And I would tell you some rant about maybe not doing sugar, but it's so hard to avoid sugar. It's so hard to get away from that. I don't even know if it's possible. Now, I wrote something here earlier, and I don't even know what I wrote. I tried to read it. My handwriting is bad. Maybe you've got something to say. Maybe there's another symptom of the gluttonous slave that I am not capable of perceiving, or I perceived it in a moment of inspiration, but it was lost to me. So think about that, all right? I'm not the subject matter expert here. The gluttonous slave cannot tell you their favorite part of media, all right? I was talking about earlier about, you're gonna ask them something, and they're gonna say, well, just Google it. Just Google it. Well, the other answer is, I don't want to give away spoilers. Marvel just did a comic about Marnius Calgar, and if, for those of you who don't know, this is the third time I've mentioned Marnius Calgar on this channel. He used to be the ultimate guy in charge of the Ultramarines, and I'm not gonna get to his downfall, but I mean, he just had like 2 power fists with like bolters and that was his thing. But he also followed the Codex Astartes. He was just like, I don't know, he was just a kick-ass grandpa. And so anyways, Marvel made a comic about him, and I commented like on this post, I was like, I wouldn't trust Marvel to flush the toilet. And the guy was like, oh no, it's really, really good. But here's what they did in the Marnius Calgar comic that really made me upset. I think before Arch lost his channel, he talked about, or someone did, and basically they have Marnius Calgar, and then Marnius Calgar dies, and then somehow there's a new guy who's now Marnius Calgar. So Marnius Calgar isn't Marnius Calgar, and that I see why they did it. I know exactly why they did it. So they had some creative freedom, right? Marnius Calgar, he's almost like an Imperial Fist. He's an Ultramarine, but he is the definition of the Codex Astartes. And it's kind of rigid, but why wouldn't you just call it like Gung-Ho Ultramarine or something like that? Like you could have anything, and then there's no reason why you can't have a guy nearly as badass as Marnius Calgar. But anyways, the whole point of this is, I was like, oh yeah, he replied to my comment about me not trusting Marvel to flush the toilet, and he was like, well, I really enjoyed it. And I was like, what was your favorite part? I was doing the gluttonous slave test. I test them all the time. You can ask them what their favorite part is, and this guy was like, I don't want to spoil it for you. And keep in mind, I mean, my earlier comment clearly showed I had no interest in reading it. No one else had commented on this. He had like 7 likes on a really, I mean, don't get me wrong, 7 likes isn't something to shake something at. I mean, look at me. I would live for that. But there was no other interaction there. Okay, it was just an intimate conversation between me and him, and he was doing, oh, I don't want to spoil it for you. Bro, I wouldn't be caught dead reading a Marvel comic about Warhammer. I would rather just, I don't know, I would rather just get a paper cut on every single page of that comic, because I know there probably aren't many pages anyways. I can suffer 47, 90 paper cuts and get through that, rather than just lobotomizing myself. So I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, no, this is great action. There were a couple 40K graphic novels that came out roughly around like 2008, 2009. They were pretty cool. They're pretty mediocre. I don't know if graphic novels is the place for it. The gluttonous slave will always resort to authority to not only justify their position, but to demean yours. They will tell you that you are many such things. And I don't want to get political, all right? This is not the political site, mainly because I don't want to get it removed. But they will, but the least political thing they've called me consistently is a troll. You'll go and you'll have your opinion stated out there wherever it is, and they'll call you a troll just because it's so different And I get removed over and over again because, well, I guess I'm trolling. And don't get me wrong, I do troll sometimes, but stating that race, sexuality, and gender are arbitrary gets me called a troll. And when I don't give in to certain theories, people tell me like, "Oh, bro, you're telling on yourself." They want the opinion of some sort of higher power. All right, this I took a class about convincing people. It was like a creative writing class, but there was like arguments there, and it's a fallacy. It's a fallacy to appeal to authority just because these people say it's so. Well, it must be so. Yeah, they're the experts. You know, we can have this discussion right here, but ultimately, the experts are the ones that are in charge. And yes, that's true to a fault, but you can't just parakeet what the experts say. You have to use what the experts say, maybe a couple experts, and put it together. You can't just shoot someone down because you know the experts. They will try to use ad hominem to dismantle you, and they will use an appeal to authority to show that they're higher. They're putting you lower, well, they go higher. And on top of that, they will censor you. They will do whatever they can to stop you from being heard, okay? When you have an idea and it makes people uncomfortable, they will lash out. They will lash out whenever they can. I've spent so much of my life trying to find where I belong, okay? Okay, McCrog's Honor graphic novel was pretty good. Okay, fine. I'll check it out. I will check it out with a different opinion. I was so vehement. I don't know. I don't want to like it. But you know, my journey through the internet has given me so many acquaintances and so few friends, and I'm just starting. I had a batch of clout for about like 6 to 8 months where and I got my name out there and I used that to make some friends, but you'll find a place where your opinion is valued. I promise you, wherever there's somewhere there's somewhere out there. There is somewhere out there where you can actually have a meaningful conversation with someone, even if it doesn't feel like that. Okay. And the difference between being valued and being valued for arbitrary concepts is like, you just go somewhere and they're just like, oh yeah, you're this, that, like it's like a checklist. And they're like, oh wow, that's so cool, you're this and this and that, and then it's just like a checklist. But they don't care what you have to say. They don't care about the content of your character. It's just an immediate like surface level check. And finally, the most important thing here, all right. Why am I demeaning gluttonous slaves? Why is my channel called Gluttonous Slave? Because I am a gluttonous slave. Okay, I can tell you over and over again how I'm not and how I'm trying not to be, but guess what? Every single second that I don't tell you that I'm not a gluttonous slave, I am a gluttonous slave. And here's why. Every company out there is investing so much in advertisement. They want you to know about their product wherever they go. If you're driving down the street, they want you to see the sign. If you're on the internet, they want you to see the investment. If you are on the television, they want you to see the commercial over and over again. Okay, they're bombarding you with this. They're just bombarding you with the commercials. They want you to buy their stuff. They want you to buy their stuff. Okay, I can tell you when I went to Korea, I didn't learn the language. I was there for a year. It takes 6 months to learn the language. And I had some regrets because, dang, that would have been an icebreaker. But I was immune to advertisement for an entire year of my life. Advertisements had no effect on me. And it was crazy how free I felt. Like it was like flying free, man. It was. And so every day you're here in your homeland, they will hunt you. They don't want you to ever know. Like, they always want you to know what their product is. And you know what? I will not advertise here. I pay for YouTube Premium so I don't have to see advertisements, and I say like a dumb Forrest Gump knockoff so much that I feel like you're already paying a price just to see me. If you can stomach through all my dumb if you can stomach that, if you can listen to that, and you still want to listen to me, then that's worth it, okay? This is Slanesh. This right here is the banner of Slanesh, okay? I don't like Slanesh. Slanesh is not your friend. Slanesh will never be your friend. You will never get fulfillment from Slanesh, even though they promise fulfillment over and over again. Why do I have something out there that I don't believe in? Why do I point at it every time the smut happens, the bullshit happens? Because I am still in Slanesh's grip. I'm an addict. I'm an addict of so many things. It's not even fair to call myself a drug addict. I am in the grip of Slanesh. And maybe you are too. And you have to remember that. As soon as you slack, even for a second, you will be the victim of she who thirsts. And that is why I am the gluttonous slave. I want to be better, but it's an everyday battle. It's never just, okay, I accomplished this. I got past this. Okay. I slipped through. Slanesh is the hermaphrodite god of hedonism. Okay. Slanesh to the Eldar is a she, and to mankind is a he. And they, whatever they are, is the god of temptation. All right. Seduction, secrets, not really lies, but more like white lies, the kind that curl around your spine and almost give you a little warmth as you spread it. Slanesh was born from the birth of decadence and must be resisted at all points. Maybe Slanesh is my god. You don't really get to choose your god. I mean, the way you worship determines your god, and I have worshipped in such a way for so many years that this is now my legacy. So I'm doing what I can not to be the gluttonous slave. Slanesh loves gluttonous slave, someone that will constantly consume, someone that will constantly take things over and over again without really questioning it. Thank you.